Wanted obviously not to win the game because we fully deserved to win the game. We conceded no shots on target, no shot off target. We dominated the direct play that they want to generate the chaos from. No set pieces. They didn't run. We did all the right things up to the last 20 meters when we generated big situations, 3 big chances, and at the end we didn't manage to score the goal. So that's the disappointment.
How difficult is it to break down a team who's set up like Everton did today?
It's at the end putting the ball in the net, the last pass, that action, because as I said, I cannot ask the rest for the team. What is everything that is generic, that is about the team, and that is that individual moment that you have to create against them to open them up, which we did in many occasions, but then you have to put the ball in the net.
Everton, of course, didn't have a game last weekend. You've played in midweek as well as last weekend. Does that have an effect at all?
No, it doesn't matter. Look at the intensity, look what we generated in the second half, look how they track back, look how they try. No excuses on that.
Do you feel it's another missed opportunity given the run of results you've had of late?
Well, for sure, and especially when you concede 0. I mean, 0, 0, 0, 0, and you dominate the game so much and you have the chances. At the end, you have to end up with the 3 points, and the disappointment is that we didn't today.
I think working without the ball, it's an important factor in the game, particularly against the sort of superpower clubs in the division. They're a fine outfit, we know that. They can make changes from the bench, which they did, and change before the game even. So, it's important that you do all the basics and all the hard yards and the ugly side of the game, your shape, your defensive work, and I thought we did that absolutely superbly well today.
How much satisfaction does that give you, knowing full well that your team was set up perfectly and you were able to execute it in the way that you did?
Yeah, I mean, look, a tactical situation, a big debate. Everyone's got the right tactics after a game. That's often the case, but it's getting it right before the game. We felt the team could operate in the right manner today. They did do, and they knew, even our wide players, it's not natural to them to be defending all the time. We've asked a lot of them, and I generally do. I think that's a modern game, but they worked so diligently today to make sure they couldn't find them wide pockets. Fullbacks playing well, centre half solid, keeper making saves when needed, not too many, but one big one certainly. I'm bound to be always nitpicking. We didn't make as many chances on the break as we could have because we had some great moments. We don't get a shot away, we don't get a final pass away, but credit to Arsenal for that because they smother you quickly down there. But as long as we keep looking after ourselves with that kind of mentality to that performance, then we'll be fine.
With Declan, I had to take him out because he was feeling something, and with Martin, it was a tactical decision to try to change their rhythm, especially on that side. He's been with a little eagle for the last week or so, and he asked to be subbed in that moment, so we have to do it.
I thought it's a penalty, to be honest. I didn't see the replay now. The boys were saying it's a penalty, but I think I have to look it back. I don't know. We have to see, but feels like it's always the same.
And a point and a clean sheet at the Emirates Stadium is impressive. What did you make of the 90?
Yeah, they've been the top side, and I always say it doesn't matter if they're near the top or near the bottom. Every team in the Premier League's tough to play against, whether it's home or away. It's about how we apply ourselves on the day, stick to the game plan, suffer as a team in moments, and I think we suffered a lot, without the ball. But that's teamship, and we dug a point out, and them points at the end of the season become crucial. Very
disciplined defensive performance as well today.
Yeah, I think, I think it's 2 defeats in 10 or 11 now, so the discipline's there, just getting that other side going. But, against Arsenal, you smash and grab a point all day long.
And you made some big saves as well. How do you feel about your own performance?
Yeah, just growing. Made some good saves at good times, and the lads did some brilliant blocks, brilliant headers. Just an all-round good performance from everybody. For me, it was a good game, but it's about being good again the next game against Chelsea.
Well, we'll talk about the wider context of the game in a moment, but seeing as he mentioned the penalty appeal, let's pick up on that. What did you think, Danny?
I think it's one of those. It wasn't a clear and obvious mistake. It looked a bit soft. I thought he was already going over, like a little slip, and there was no obvious bad contact for me. I didn't ever think, when they didn't give it, I didn't think it was going to get turned over.
If they gave it, would they have turned it over?
Probably not. I think he does all right. I think he does well and actually comes out with the ball. I think he's just lost his balance a little bit. I don't think that's a penalty, do you?
No, I think he makes contact with the ball and then scoops it through. So I think it was a good decision in the end. I think you see just from there, a little bit on the ball there and then scoops it round. So I understand he's going through, but I think he makes contact there and scoops it again. So for me, that's
they shouldn't be relying on decisions like that. to get them through game. You know, they've drawn at Fulham last week, not created too much. Not created too much today. First half, a couple of chances for Odegaard and the one from Saka early second half. But Arsenal, we've seen them better than that. And they're just struggling a bit for creativity.
Why do you think that is? Because they do have Odegaard back, although he was subbed, wasn't he, in the second half, wasn't he? Which was a bit strange. But they do have the players, so what is it that's not working for them?
I think, like I mentioned it, everyone can see now from the tactics that they're very right side dominant. You set up a game plan to eradicate that, be good from set pieces, and then you're thinking, well,
where else?
Where else are you going to get goals from? The left side isn't giving us the output that we want, and that's what I'm saying. If they don't go and get someone for the left side, I think they won't ever kick on to the levels where they want to get to. And I think credit to Everton, you have to defend those moments. You can have a game plan, but you still have to execute it and defend well in those moments. And I think they did today. And obviously, as Sean Dyche says, when the goalkeeper's needed, he comes up with big moments as well. So they have to have more balance down that left-hand side. They have to be able to find a different way.
Small details as well. So if you think last week when the last-minute goal from Saka gets disallowed at Fulham, and today, when you look at Odegaard and his quality, and in one particular chance first half, normally you see him tuck that away. All of a sudden, those 2 draws are 2 wins. There's no crisis. They are dominating games. They are playing with good possession. They're still very good defensively. I still expect Arsenal to be really competitive in this Premier League and push Liverpool and Chelsea.
Should they be scoring more from open play, though? Because it's now 3 games in a row with no goal from open play. They are hugely reliant on set pieces. Does that worry you a bit, Karen?
I think it does. I think before today they were 11th in terms of open play XG. Look, and we've seen these clips, and Odegaard was the main guy, and as we mentioned, he went off. So I haven't heard any reasons why, but it's certainly looking into why he was brought off, whether it was a knock or anything like that. But you know, Saka and Odegaard are their main guys, and if you block that, there is a problem. I think the rest of the team is built on really good physicality, and they're a hard to beat team. I've always said Mikel Arteta for me is a defensive-minded coach. He plays to be, hard to beat and then get your moments. But
you know what though, they did actually only score a couple less than Man City last year. They were second highest goal scorer, and they didn't have any problems. So maybe it's just a phase. I do think the left side's a great point and something to look at addressing.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
no, I was just going to say, even from last year though, Dan, if your goalkeeper has made 16 clean sheets, you've got one of the best defences in Europe, you've got £100 million centre midfielder, Odegaard and Saka, and you still come second. There's only 2 spaces that can get you from second to first. So I'll be really, really interested to see what they do in January if they go and find that, because they're literally 1 player off, in my opinion. And then I think it will give the whole team a boost as well. And I think sometimes you've got to bring in that next player to keep saying, we're going. And
also to take advantage of the fact that City aren't playing at their very best. So if there's ever a time to do it, it could be now for them.
Exactly.
OK. Well, we've been focusing largely on the top half of the table, but after the break, we focus...
Let's reflect on what's been happening today. We're going to start in the Premier League. We're going to start at the Emirates, where Arsenal have missed a golden opportunity to capitalise on Liverpool drawing at home to Fulham this afternoon. Why, Tim Sherwood, were they not able to capitalise?
2 words, Jordan Pickford. I mean, what a performance he made.
Hence the smile at the end we just saw for him.
No, he was magnificent. He was very, very good. But he wasn't alone. They'd come for a point, and that's exactly what they got. They had no intention of driving forward and trying to win the football match. I think Sean Dyche is a master at this. If he knows that he's up against it, he set his team out, but they should have been beat 2 or 3, to be honest. But Pickford made some magnificent saves. They had a plan, just to block the middle of the park. Guy, Decore and Mangala in the middle just protected Tarkowski and Branthwaite, who were excellent. Let the ball go wide. Every time the ball came into the box, they headed it out. And then they just reset again. They must have been doing it time and time again all week. They would have practiced this. They would have known what to expect. And Odegaard and Saka were opening them up time and time again in the first half. Odegaard picks that, on that right side, just that the space in the corner of the box, and Saka, he was just sliding him in, and they were creating chances. And then on 62 minutes, Mikel decides to bring off Declan Rice and Odegaard. I'm not sure if they're injured. I mean, we're only speculating, but if they're not injured, I can't understand why he's brought him off, because when you bring off Odegaard, you disarm and you take away a lot of ammunition for Saka. And we never saw Saka when after that.
Very rarely see those kind of players being taken off.
Well, yeah, especially when you need a goal and you're lacking guile really in the midfield areas. Odegaard sees the picture, disguise passes. He's got every club in the bag. He little float ones over the top. He can drive it into people. He picks the right pass at the right time. He comes off, and from there on in, it was predictable from Arsenal. You know, just packed the box, and Everton were just happy then. You could feel like they were comfortable just soaking it up, and there was no space to operate. And when there was a half chance from set pieces, they just put their bodies on the line and defended. And they really played for the shirt today, and they got the point they come for.
By the way, we talked to Boydie more about this. So we were showing you those scenes at the end of the game between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Ipswich Town, with Ipswich Town have won by 2-1. We saw Ryan Aït-Nouri really involved, being held back by a number of figures at Molineux. Well, he was in the end booked for a second bookable offence, so he has effectively been sent off in that game, but it came after the full-time whistle. We'll reflect more on that. We'll go back to the Emirates and back to what Tim was watching. That's now 14 points that Arsenal have dropped in their last 9 games in the Premier League. However good they might have been midweek against Monaco, in terms of a title race, that's way too many to drop.
It is, yeah. Like I said at the top of the show early on this afternoon, I still fancy them to put a run together, but they need their best players on the pitch to be able to achieve this. And if they're not playing well, we've seen them for the last few months, you know, or for all the season, get set pieces and score from set pieces. Doesn't matter how you win as long as you take maximum points. But today, they couldn't find that because Everton got their head on the first ball. You know, so it was very few chances from set pieces. I've never seen a crowd get so excited about a set piece. You know, especially a crowd like Arsenal, when they've got players who can open you up and, you know, and free flowing. We've seen them over the years, but they almost believe their best chance to score now is from a set piece. The roar goes up when a corner's been given, and they do look a threat. But Everton just stood up to it today.
Well, 6 clean sheets in the last 9 games for Sean Dyche's side. They might not be entertaining going forward, but they're a tough nut to crack.
You don't want a season ticket there, do you? But he's just paid to do a job, Sean. That's why he's a safe pair of hands, and I always feel like if he manages any team in the Premier League, he's going to keep them in it. But you know, he would argue if he had the better players, then he could embroider it and make it more pleasurable to watch. But they went there and I would ask Michael Dawson. Michael will know when you're a centre half and a defender and you play in them games and you come away with what you started the game for, which was a point, and you've had to soak up the pressure and you put your body on your line. It is, Michael, a magnificent feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I think Everton going there as well. That's how they're set up. Listening into Tim, and you've done your job. And I think you have to, because you look who plays there, the pace of that they've got in wide areas, Arsenal. You go toe to toe with them, you're going to be in big trouble. Defend the edge of the box, which I think they like doing, Everton. That is what they're all about. And that's a Sean Dyche team, which I've always said, when you've got him in charge, and I saw last week, or 2 weeks ago, a Dyche sign out, I'm like, give it a rest. He will get you results and he'll get you out of trouble. What are you expecting from this Everton team? The grit and determination, the fight that they've shown. They started off disastrously, conceding goals, but they've also got these kind of performances in them. But yeah, big performance from Everton, and from a defensive point of view, like you said, Tim, the centre halves, he's proud as Jordan Pickford.
Told you they should have had a number 9, Arsenal.
You argued against it.
Referring to a much earlier discussion. By the way, next for Everton, it is Chelsea.
Indumentaria, la Kings Limited Gold Edition. Solo hay 50 unidades de todos los equipos y también puede ser vuestra entrando en kingsleague.pro. Así que es los datos a tener en cuenta en cuanto a indumentarias. Gran partido, Gonzalo, Gerard, el que tenemos por delante.
Ojo, estilo La Bombonera, estadio de River.
Hostia, más minutos de retraso en el inicio, ¿eh? Ya tenemos lío.
Lo llamó Edo, dibujando la parábola sobre la banda derecha, donde en el vértice del área aparece Nadir. ¡Nadir para adentro! ¡Gol! De Nadir Lua, que tiene una facilidad pasmosa. Encuentra a Pablo, qué balón para Nadir para el segundo. Se tafa de Cócera, es un golazo. ¡Es un golazo! Señoras, señores, bienvenidos al show de Nadir Lua. Pibe.
El mejor.
Vamos
haciendo espionaje, ¿eh?
Vaya mierda dado, pibe. Va, ya te puedes ir a la cúpula a comer, va.
Hay que salir Cócera para entregar hacia el centro. Se la regala Coy, le puede pegar Coy para adentro.
Vaya chicha, nano.
¡Gol! De Porcinos Óscar Coy. Ah, pues sí.
Tony, ¿tienes brazalete volante?
Pero es que, señores,
Pero te lo dije, hombre.
Tenemos, comodín, ¿cómo lo usamos? Penalti.
Penalti.
Venga, será penalti.
Vamos, Cuni.
Puede meter en el partido a Cuni. Jordi, para adentro, ¡qué golazo!
¡Guau!
¡Dios! ¡Gol! Vamos con Nadir Luay, con Laura Vizcaíno.
Pues sí, Nadir, 2 goles, victoria y a cuartos, enhorabuena.
Sí, sabíamos que el partido iba a ser muy importante porque veníamos de una muy mala dinámica. El equipo ha estado bien, sufríamos defensivamente y creo que hemos estado muy juntitos. Y nada, primer objetivo cumplido.
Os espera Science, rival complicado, imagino.
Sí, empatamos contra ellos y en shootout perdimos. Ha quedado segundo por algo. Nada, concentración, confianza con nosotros mismos y intentar ganar para el sábado estar en el Wizzing.
Os lo veremos mañana, mucha suerte.